As you may have already noticed, today's workforce is the most age-diverse it's ever been. In some workplaces, it's not unusual to have as many as 5 generations working side by side. And while that diversity is valuable, it can come with some challenges. So what are they, and how can you overcome them? Let's get started by breaking down the 5 generations in the workplace. First, we have traditionalists, who were born between 1922 and 1945. Members of this generation tend to be formal and hold a deep respect for authority. They're also known for their pride, caution, and loyalty. Next, we have baby boomers, who were born between 1946 and 1964. Baby boomers are a huge generation, and its members often competed against one another growing up. A strong work ethic, ambitious spirit, and goal-oriented mentality characterized this generation. Third, born between 1965 and 1980, there's Generation X. Members of this generation grew up taking care of themselves and using new technology. As a result, Generation X is known for its independence, tech appreciation, self-reliance, and entrepreneurial drive. Generation X is often called the middle child because it's wedged between the 2 largest generations in American history, the baby boomers and the millennials. Millennials are the 4th generation on our list. They were born between 1981 and 1996. Millennials are tech-savvy, and they value freedom and efficiency. They also received a lot of attention growing up, which led to their social nature and need for feedback. Finally, born between 1997 and 2015, there's Generation Z. With unlimited access to advanced technology, this generation is tech-savvy, social, and creative. While every person is unique, each generation was shaped and molded by its own historical events. So, having 5 generations working together is bound to cause some challenges. There are 4 main challenges of generational diversity. First, there are communication gaps. Each generation grew up sending and receiving information differently, and that's led to distinct communication preferences. Second, people can experience interpersonal issues. With decades between them, different generations may have trouble relating to one another. Third, you might see divided work preferences. Every generation has its way of doing things, and those clashing styles can make it difficult for employees to work together. Finally, you may see stereotyping and bias in the workplace, which stem from a lack of understanding. Knowing these challenges is the first step to overcoming them. And with the right strategy, you can turn the setbacks into opportunities. There are 4 strategies you can use to bridge the generation gap. First, adopt various communication styles. Each generation is likely to have its own preferences, so be flexible and give your team access to different mediums, such as face-to-face, phone, email, instant messaging, and social apps. Next, offer work options. Rather than following a one-size-fits-all approach, be flexible. For example, you might implement flexible schedules, offer remote options, or provide private and open office space for collaboration as well as independent work. As you start implementing that flexibility, you'll also need to find ways to bring people together, which takes us to our next strategy. The third strategy is to encourage cross-generational connections. That can be done by creating age-diverse teams and starting a mentoring program that pairs different generations together. Remember, the more your team members interact with one another, the more likely they are to move past labels. Finally, take a personalized approach with each individual. Start a dialogue with your team members. Consider what your employees need, and then tailor your management to the person so that everyone is getting what they need to succeed. Ultimately, to overcome the challenges of generational diversity, you must be flexible. You must treat your team members as individuals and consider how you can bring them together. So remember the 4 strategies we just covered and customize your approach, as that's the key to creating a united workforce.